What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Kid Taj, and today we're gonna be talking about another team who, I guess, we all kind of wrote off, especially after last year. I'm pretty disappointed in this team, Detroit Pistons, of course. And I'm disappointed in them because after the year they made the playoffs and got swept by the Cavs, even though we all remember that it was a really close series. It was one of the closest sweeps there ever has been. It was like every game right down to the wire, but the Cavs would end up stealing it at the end. And I believe they went after that, they would go on to come back down 3-1, beat the Warriors. I believe that was that year. So obviously the Pistons had done enough right to continue to progress each year. And after being one of these teams that has been at the bottom of the league for some time, in the lottery for a while, they finally made it to the playoffs. And, a team full of young guys. They give Reggie Jackson this contract. Andre Drummond is coming into his own as a star. And they got a couple other decent players starting for that team. Like, at the time, I think it was KCP, Marcus Morris, and maybe Tobias Harris was there. I'm not sure. But they had those guys, and they were decent. They were on the come up, but something happened. I actually predicted them in my video to be a 4 seed. That was like my first big video on this channel, was my predictions. I predicted them to be a 4 seed, the big jump they would make, but they went in the other direction. They were bad last year, and all this stuff happened. Reggie Jackson, teammates didn't like him. Andre Drummond took a step back. There was so much wrong with that team, especially when you talk about the chemistry and stuff. Now it looks like they could be on the way to making that jump that they should have made last year, and I'm gonna cross my fingers. I don't want to jump to any conclusions because I just made a video like this about the Magic. Magic started 4-1. Wow, no one else is 4-1 in the East. Now the Pistons are 5-2. They're the best team in the East. So, and by record, obviously. Not to say the Magic aren't good, but this is now 2 teams that have surprised us, and they're looking like 2 of the best teams so far in the Eastern Conference. But how many teams is there room for to add in and be like, okay, well, they can make the playoffs too? Because I didn't have the Magic or the Pistons in my playoffs predictions. That means we gotta start taking teams out. Like the Heat. Are the Heat still in? Look, maybe this is all maybe I'm doing this wrong because we're 6-7 games in. Like, teams haven't played enough games for us to start talking about, okay, what team should we take out of our playoffs predictions? The Pistons are 5-2. However, they have beaten the Los Angeles Clippers and the Golden State Warriors on back-to-back nights, both on the road. And the Clippers, they were undefeated, and the Pistons came out with a W. Back-to-back against Golden State in Oracle Arena. They come back from down, 14, 15 points, and they win. They hold off a comeback at the end. They're doing things that I would have never imagined them to be doing. Most teams, when the Warriors start that comeback, when they start hitting all those threes, they have no answer for them. When the Warriors get on that roll, when they get down, they start coming back. It looks bad, and it's not very often that the team ahead is able to sustain that lead. But the Pistons did it, and the Pistons now 5-2. You look at the roster; it's another team where it's like, well, this team should be able to work, right? Because Reggie Jackson proved himself as a really good point guard a few years ago, fell off last year, and hopefully he can get back on track. Andre Drummond is a guy that, I don't understand. I feel like he's already hit his peak. I don't see him getting a lot better. However, he's had some decent games here and there this season. But I think the most important players so far for this Pistons team have been Avery Bradley and Tobias Harris. Those are guys that have been extremely important. Tobias Harris is the guy that has taken a leap as a scorer. He comes in and he's averaging 21 points now. He's stepping into that main scorer role. He's a guy that was always able to put the ball in the basket, but now he's really taking a step up. And Avery Bradley is a guy that I've always talked about being extremely underrated. He's someone that can defend anybody from 5'11 to 6'8. Okay, he can guard 3 positions, and He's very valuable because he can also shoot the ball and score the ball inside. He gets steals. He's really quality player because he's an efficient scorer, a good shooter, and an elite defensive player. He's an all-positive guy. He's not gonna be detrimental to your team in any way, shape, or form. So he's always a beneficial player and a guy that is criminally underrated in the league, not talked about nearly enough for the amount of value he's really worth, in my belief. I think he's one of the most underrated players today. So, look, I don't want to jump to conclusions. I don't want to overreact too much to this. However, most teams couldn't do what the Pistons just did. Most teams in the league aren't capable of going into LA, beating an undefeated Clippers team, and then turn around on a back-to-back, come from behind, beat the Warriors fully healthy at Oracle. There aren't a lot of teams that can do that. And maybe the Pistons are one of these teams that they're incredibly inconsistent. They might have games like these, but then turn around, lose to the Knicks. I could see that happening with a team like this because honestly, the Detroit Pistons, they have their problems. They are a team that is underachieving in general. I'm talking about last season. They really should have been better than the record that they had. And now this year, maybe they get it going. I don't want to, sit here and confirm the Detroit Pistons as a good team. Now, I'm not going to stamp them in for a playoff entry at this point. I said about the Magic a few days ago, like they were 4-1, and I'm saying, look, maybe they could hit that 8th seed. However, it's very early. We don't know for sure what they can do. Obviously, they're a team that they are capable. They can do it. The question is, are they consistent enough, disciplined enough, mentally capable of it? And the same thing for the Pistons. I mean, the Pistons were there a year before last year. So they know how to get to the playoffs. The question is, can they sustain a good record and get in? And I don't know, man. I mean, you think that teams like the Miami Heat and the Cavs are going to get going and start to go for these spots because we already got a bunch of teams like the Celtics, the Bucks, the Wizards, among teams that we were like, okay, yeah, we knew they were going to make the playoffs. There are some teams like the Cavs who've been struggling. They just lost the Knicks at home. They've been losing to everybody. But we know they're making the playoffs. So I said before, and Toronto, of course, is in that playoff conversation as well. There's like 5 or 6 teams locked in. I mean, there's only really like 3 spots. I think I said the Cavs, Celtics, Bucks, Raptors, and Wizards are 5 teams that are locked into the NBA playoffs. They are making it. And if one of those 5 teams doesn't make it, it's going to be an incredible disappointment. Then after those 5 teams, yes, you have 3 open slots. We don't know. I think the Heat will make it, but they're not for sure. The Magic and the Pistons can both make it, but that would mean the Sixers and Heat, only one of them might make it, or maybe the Hornets will make it, or something like that. So it's up in the air for that spot. We're going to see who takes it, but right now, I'm not going to say that the Pistons are doing that. They're really, inconsistent, I think, but who knows? Maybe we could see this team finally become all that they're advertised as. That's going to do it for this video. I'm out. Thanks for watching, y'all. Peace.